guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just gonna do a quick random little Q&A. I asked you guys a long time ago to ask me questions on Instagram, and I still have some questions left over, so I'm just gonna go through a couple of them. So let's get with the video. I don't know, I'm awkward. I just woke up from a nap and I'm like, I don't even know who I am right now. I just decided to do a Q&A to, you know, ground myself and remind me again who I am. That's what happens to me when I take naps. I just wake up and I forget, like, in what dimension am I living in? What's the time period? Are there still dinosaurs outside? Did I get an A on my organic chemistry test? You know, it's just those existential questions. Very important existential questions. What are my favorite superfoods? I don't know if matcha is a superfood, but I always add matcha to my green smoothies, and I love adding spirulina because not only does it have a lot of health benefits, but it also adds a really nice deep green color. I also love cacao nibs. They add a really nice crunch and they're really high in antioxidants. I love dried mulberries, goji berries, chia seeds, flax seeds. Honestly, as long as it's a whole plant food, to me it's considered a superfood. Spinach has so many good things in it, so it's a superfood. Same with like oranges and grapes, and I mean some foods obviously like iceberg lettuce don't really have that many nutrients in it, but the things that are more nutrient dense and like more colorful and rich, they are considered superfoods to me. Sorry, I'm like putting on lip balm because I realized that my lips felt a little dry. If there was something that you could change about your character, what would it be? I wish I were more decisive. I am such an indecisive person. Yesterday, it was so funny. I was driving to Subway already, and I was like, should I get Subway or should I just eat food at home? Like, I have food at home, so why am I going to Subway? And I was like, but I really crave Subway, but like there's also really good food at home. So in my head I was thinking, okay, either one is fine. Like, Amanda, just please make up your mind. And I could not make up my mind. I literally had to pull over in a parking lot, text someone to ask them what they would choose, and I just waited. I sat there for like 15-20 minutes just trying to debate. And even when my friend was saying like, oh, Subway sounds good, like try Subway, see how that sounds, I'm like, should I get Subway though? But I thought about eating food at home. I was like, but then Subway's calling my name. But then when I thought about Subway, I was like, but then food at home is calling my name. And I just like wish I was much more decisive in that aspect. Like, that's how I am with shopping, obviously deciding what to eat, deciding what YouTube video to watch, deciding what song to listen to, unless the song is already stuck in my head. But I'm just like such an indecisive person. So I wish that I was just more decisive. One of my favorite features is the way that I've kind of trained myself to not take things so seriously. And in some cases, I see how that can be a bad thing if people don't take things seriously. When something bad in life happens, or when something unfortunate in my life occurs, I just step back and I think, look, just look at the bigger picture. Like, this sucks that it happened, but that's okay because we're still alive and we're still able to move on and do something else. And it doesn't make sense to dwell on the past and to dwell on what we can't change. And I have grown a lot in that aspect, and I really like that I can kind of go through those movements when something bad happens, because then I keep feeling good, and as I feel good, good things will keep occurring. Do you think you control your own fate? I do 100% think that we are in control of our destiny, but at the same time, I think that all of us have like a certain kind of guideline or like a rough sketch outline of what our life could be with the skill set and the environment that we have been born into. But then again, as humans, as free thinkers and people with free will, we also have the option to not follow along those guidelines and take everything that we have and everything that we're equipped with and just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go do something else. But it all just depends on you and the type of person that you are. What is the recommended amount of greens vegans need each day? Just eat as many greens as you can. Greens are so good for you. Do you mind cross-contamination as simple as drinking water from the same glass with a non-vegan after a meal? Okay, so if it's right after a meal, I'd actually be kind of hesitant to drink water out of the same glass as somebody else, because, you know, like the oils and whatever else is in that they have eaten that's in their mouth from an animal could have gone into the water. So in that aspect, I'm like, like I'll just get my own water. But if it's like a couple hours after they've already drinking water before, their mouths have been like rinsed or they brushed their teeth or whatever, then I'll like share a cup of water. But I don't really share cups of water with people who aren't vegan. I just realized that. Like, I would share cups of water. Actually, no. I wouldn't even share a cup of water with my brother, and he eats vegan, but I just think he's gross. So I'm like, I'm not gonna share a cup of water with you. Also, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's tea because I just woke up and I need a little energy boost and some hydration, so I'm drinking some tea. Let's move on. How do you deal with fears? So with fears, I like to think that fears are really nothing but just things that we have put our own mental block on. So say you're scared of trying a new type of food. You have that mental block on it, on trying that new food, and there's so many hypothetical negative thoughts around it, and like you have so many projected like negative feelings toward it, but you have not actually experienced eating that new food. You're thinking in your head like, oh my gosh, I can't do it, like it's just not gonna work out or whatever. But what I like to do in those situations is just think, okay, what is going to happen when I eat the food? Realistically, like let's go back to earth. Let's think about this in a realistic way. Like, what is going to happen if I eat the food? Most of the time, nothing. I'm gonna eat it, and if I like it, I like it, and if I don't like it, then I don't like it. And it's really not that big of a deal. So if I'm going to put that into a real life example, because that's kind of like a, okay, Amanda, it's just like, oh, whatever example. But if I go use that and apply it to a real life example, like introducing myself to a new person, or telling somebody I like them, I just think like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. What if I get rejected? What if that person thinks I'm weird? What if like he doesn't want to talk to me anymore? What if I end up being the person alone? What if I'm that person on that TV show who's like the loner and the rejects? Basically, I would have fears of being rejected. But then I have to like talk myself through it and reason my way through it, okay? So I tell a guy I like him. What if he says no? Then he says no. What if I get rejected? Then I get rejected. What does that say about me on the inside? Literally, it means nothing about me. It means that he's just not interested, or there's something else going on within him that's just like not matching up to my own frequency. And that's okay. It's okay for like those things to happen. What's most important is the way that we cycle through it and the way that we move on through it. So he doesn't like me, then I get rejected, then what? I can either let that tear me apart and let those negative thoughts and stuff permeate through and convince me that I'm worthless and convince me negative things about myself, or I can just say, okay, he doesn't like me, let's move on, you know? So really the way that I work through fears and the way that I handle fears is just trying to talk rationally through it. Again, if I get rejected by someone, that doesn't mean I'm a reject. It doesn't mean that I'm any less valuable to anyone else. It just means that they have their own perception. It just means that they're having their own experience and it just doesn't match up to mine. And that's okay, because 100% of the time, everybody is in their own little reality. And I made a video about this before, but everybody has their own little reality, and everything that they experience is a projection of what they're experiencing on the inside. So those kind of things like we have no control over, but I feel like I'm going off on a little tangent, but it's just to help you like come back to not being scared, especially of things that involve other people. I have to eat cold lunches during the week. What are your tricks for having a plant-based, delicious, well-rounded meal that I can look forward to at lunchtime? The first thing that comes to my mind is like a really good salad, and then you could put like cold potatoes or cold sweet potatoes on top, or some cold rice, and just mix that all together, and you'll have your greens and vegetables, you'll have your fats if you eat it with an avocado or a really good dressing. Might I suggest the sesame ginger dressing from Whole Foods? So good, my favorite thing ever to put on vegetables. And you'll have good balance of whole grains or starches. You could also do like a pasta salad, just I guess a salad, but it doesn't have to be only greens, which it shouldn't be only greens. You should also be adding more filling things to it. What are my vegan staples at lunch and at home? So some really important vegan staples are greens, for sure. Always have greens on hand, so like spinach or a mix of baby greens. I like to have brown rice. It used to be potatoes, but I'm like kind of over potatoes right now. I'm sorry, potato lovers, but I'm just like a rice girl. So brown rice and bananas, of course, beans, and from there, just any vegetables on hand. And that'll do it. Any tips for being less self-critical? Self-criticism really doesn't get you anywhere. You only have so much time in your life to be like self-critical, you know? So when you're self-critical and it's so much negative to the point where it's damaging, it's really not worth those seconds that you spend, because you cannot get those seconds back. You want to be as productive as possible. But the universe doesn't respond to, okay, so that's good and I'm gonna give her more good, or that's bad so I'm not gonna give her bad. The universe responds to whatever you're thinking about. So when you're critical of yourself and you're saying, oh my god, Amanda, you are so clumsy, you are so stupid, the universe isn't gonna be like, okay, let's stop giving her clumsy, let's stop giving her stupid. The universe is gonna be like, okay, she's thinking clumsy and stupid, so we're gonna give her more clumsy and stupid. So what I like to do is just focus on the good things. Focus on, okay, so I don't want to be clumsy anymore, I'm gonna be more graceful, and I don't want to be stupid anymore, so I'm gonna be more smart, or I'm gonna be more productive and take more initiative when it comes to my studies and be more mindful of where I'm stepping so that I don't trip and stub a toe. That's the best way to be, in my opinion. If you have to be self-critical, the best way to be self-critical is just to point out the things that you do want to be and point out the things that you would like to accomplish rather than pointing out the bad things. Okay, what is your ideal / perfect day? Waking up early, getting a workout in, either a really intense lift or a nice long bike ride. I really miss biking. I want to go biking again. Or just going hiking, or just spending time outside for a couple hours, coming back, eating breakfast with somebody that I love or with some friends. Obviously, going out to exercise would be with somebody that I would enjoy spending that time with, because I realized that I like being around people, although I am an introvert. I don't really care too much about socializing and buzzing around everywhere, but I do like the company of other people when I'm out and about or doing things, or even if I'm studying, I just like to have someone else there or the presence of another human being there. So that's why I always go to the library to study now, because I like when there's other people around and when there's some kind of noise around, but I don't really feel like talking to people. I just like the surrounding environment. Breakfast, preferably outside, if it were at a beach, and having some time to journal. I guess just spending the whole entire day with family. Honestly, I would just like to wake up early and sleep early, because sleep feels so good and I love sleep. But I just also would like to spend time with other people doing fun vegan things. I'm sorry, it was really vague, but I'm honestly not that hard to please. As long as it just fits in the parameters of vegan and with other people, then that's normally a really good day to me. So those are all the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A, and I will probably be doing more in the future, so make sure you stay tuned for when I ask for questions. And don't forget that I also do weekly YouNow sessions. They're just live Q&As basically, if you guys are ever interested. So you don't have to wait for a video like this to come out. You can just hang out with me on YouNow, have a convo, ask questions, I'll answer them right away. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.